Every single company you deal with, from the place you grab your morning coffee to your favorite streaming service, knows something about you. They know what you buy, when you browse, what you binge watch. But here's the big question. With all this data, are they actually getting any smarter? Are they using that knowledge to make your life better? Or are they just trying to sell you more stuff? Let's get into it.
And that's really the core question right there, isn't it? Because there is a massive difference between a database that's just full of your clicks and a genuine, honest-to-goodness understanding of what you actually need. Bridging that gap, well, that's where a really powerful strategic idea comes into play.
And that idea has a name: Customer Knowledge Management, or CKM for short. Now, this isn't just about hoarding data. Not at all. CKM is the whole process of turning that raw information into actual wisdom. Wisdom that helps a company innovate, personalize things for you, and at the end of the day, just serve you better. It's about creating a flow of knowledge that, when you manage it right, makes things better for everyone.
So, here's what we've got on top. We're going to break down what customer knowledge really is. Then we'll map out how it has evolved over the last 24 years through 3 totally distinct phases. We'll also take a peek into the future, and most importantly, talk about why all of this research really matters. Okay, first things first. When we say customer knowledge, what are we actually talking about? Because it sounds simple, but it's not just one thing. In fact, the researchers behind the paper we're looking at today break it down into 3 really important dimensions. Think of it like a 3-way street. First, you've got knowledge for customers. This is stuff like FAQs, tutorials, product guides, anything that helps you make a better decision. Then there's knowledge about customers. That's the classic stuff: your purchase history, your browsing data, all the things that go into those big CRM systems. But the third one, knowledge from customers, this is arguably the real magic. This is about a company actively listening to your feedback, your ideas, even your complaints, and using it to get better. A truly smart company has to master all 3.
For the longest time, research on CKM was kind of all over the map. You had different studies in different journals, each looking at one tiny little piece of the puzzle. It was like trying to build a jigsaw puzzle without the picture on the box. It was almost impossible to see the big picture of how this field was changing until now. A brand new, comprehensive review has finally put it all together. This whole explainer is actually based on a fantastic piece of research published in Knowledge Management Research and Practice. The paper is called Evolution and Integration in Customer Knowledge Management, and it's by Arunima KV, Kartikeya Bowler, and Bindu Nambiar. And let me tell you, they took on the massive task of mapping this entire field from the ground up.
And when I say massive, I am not kidding. They didn't just glance at a few papers. They systematically analyzed almost 300 different peer-reviewed articles. That gives their findings an incredible amount of authority.
And get this, the scope covered 24 years of research, from 2001 all the way to 2024. I mean, that's basically the entire modern digital era, right? From the early days of e-commerce to the dawn of generative AI we're seeing today. So how on earth did they wrangle all that information? Well, they used this really clever analytical tool called the TCCM framework. It let them categorize every single paper by its core theory, the business context it was in, the characteristics of the knowledge, and the methods used. Honestly, think of it like creating a Google Maps for an entire field of research. It allowed them to chart the whole landscape and create the first ever comprehensive view of CKM. And what they found when they mapped everything out was pretty amazing. The field didn't just grow randomly. Nope, it evolved in 3 very clear, very distinct phases, and each one was defined by the technology and the business priorities of that time. So from 2001 to 2009, that was the foundational phase. This was all about just getting the basic digital plumbing right, hooking things up with the first CRM systems. Then from 2010 to 2015, we hit the integration and innovation phase. This is when social media exploded and the focus shifted to engaging with customers and using their ideas to build better products. And finally, from 2016 to today, we are deep in the strategic expansion phase, where AI and big data have totally changed the game, turning CKM from just a marketing tool into a core strategic weapon for the entire company.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This paper doesn't just look back. It gives us a fascinating glimpse into the future by pointing out this critical tension, this gap, that is going to define where all of this goes next. And this quote from the study's abstract just nails it. The authors found this major disconnect. See, while a ton of the research is still focused on older foundational ideas, the actual future of CKM is being shaped by all these new tech-focused frameworks that, frankly, haven't been studied nearly enough. This slide shows that tension perfectly. It's like a tug of war. On one side, you've got the high-volume theories, the stuff that's been studied to death, like traditional CRM theory. But on the other side, you have the high-impact ideas, the newer stuff built around AI, big data, and something called dynamic capabilities. That's just a fancy way of saying a company's ability to constantly adapt and innovate using what it knows. And the paper's big argument is that the focus has to shift from the left side of this chart to the right.
Okay, so this all leads us to the big so what question, right? I mean, a 24-year review is an incredible academic achievement, for sure. But what makes this paper so important is that it gives us a clear, actionable roadmap for both the people doing this work in the real world and for the researchers who study it.
For any business leaders watching, the message is crystal clear. First, you've got to stop just passively collecting data and start actively using it to make decisions. Second, invest in AI tools that can tell you what's going to happen, not just what already happened. Third, break CKM out of its cage. It can't just live in the marketing department. It needs to be part of every single customer interaction. And finally, and this is a big one, none of this works if your customers don't trust you. Strong ethical data rules aren't just nice to have, they're absolutely essential.
And for the academics out there, the paper basically hands you a to-do list. It's a call to action to bridge that gap between old theories and what's happening today with technology and strategy. It highlights a huge need for more diverse studies, looking at different industries over longer periods of time and in new places, like small businesses. And crucially, it urges researchers to start tackling the tough ethical questions that come with AI-powered customer knowledge.
So we'll end by turning the question back to you. After seeing this incredible 24-year journey, just think about your own company, or even the companies you buy from. Is their knowledge about you just a dead, static file sitting on a server somewhere? Or is it a living, breathing, dynamic capability that's actually driving innovation and creating real value? Because what this research makes perfectly clear is that the future belongs to the companies that choose the latter.